Good news, everyone. We somehow managed to make ourselves a rival MMA promotion that put on a card that somehow manages to rival an Apex UFC card. So we're going to be going over the MVP NETFILX card headlined by Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey. They actually managed to put on a decent card full of a bunch of unks. But, I mean, hey, guys, we got Francis Ngannou. We got Nate Diaz. We got Rowdy Ronda Rousey from the dinosaur ages. But no, for real, there are some good fights on here. All right. We're going to be going over every single fight, even if I don't even know the guy. All right. We're going to be picking each one. We're going to be predicting each one. We're going to be giving you all the juicy deets in this here video, starting with the very first fight of the early prelims, or I guess just the regular prelims. And we already got ourselves a catch weight bout with Brandon Jenkins versus Chris Alvia. Tough fight, guys. Tough fight. They're at catch weight. Oh my goodness. Brandon Jenkins has a record of 6-11 on what could be the most watched MMA card of all time. And imagine you're an absolute bum with a 6-11 record. Holy moly. And this other guy has an 8-9 record. What is going on? And they weigh, what is this weight? What? They have like the same reach. I wish you guys could see this right now. What in the world is happening? But anyways, I'm going to go with Chris Alvia because he's got that tough cookie look. He's keeping his chin tucked. All right. Jack Jenkins has his chin all the way up in the air. All right. So I'm going to go with Chris Alvia. We got Eileen Pereira versus Jade Mason Wong. Mason Wong? Mason Wong. That sounds like a nice name. Mason Wong. Mason Wong. But sadly, she also has a horrendous record of 3-2. I guess not the worst. And then Eileen, I said Alice. Alice is the freaking girl in the UFC. Eileen Pereira is Alex Pereira is like half sister or sister. You could tell because they both look like an Easter Island statue. Very chiseled jawline. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Eileen Pereira. She's got a nice left hook. All right, Alex Pereira jeans are flowing within her. Pause. But yeah, man, I trust her to beat Jade Mason Wong over here. We move on to David. Oh my God, these names are gonna kill me. David Magoyan. I know David Magoyan. I've heard of this guy versus Albert Morales. Holy crap, Albert Morales, you look old, son. 9-10. What are these records? What is this card, bro? Oh my God. The level of competition somehow is better on a UFC Apex card. Because holy moly, these are bad records. I'm going to go with David Magoyan. All right, I've heard of him. He's pretty good. All right, and he's fighting a guy with an 8-10 record. Like, come on, guys. And he's old. Look at this man. Freaking Albert Morales. Give it up, Unc. Give it up. Jason Jackson versus Jefferson Cretan. This guy's a Cretan. Do you think I'm going to bet on a Cretan? No, I don't think. I feel like that's actually how you pronounce his name, Cretan. It's not spelled like the same way, but it's like, I feel like it's pronounced Cretan. So yeah, I'm not going to pick a Cretan. I'm going to pick Jason Jackson over here. All right. He looks like a slim down, like scary Rashad Evans. Right. They actually both have decent records. These guys are fighting at welterweight, 19-6, 12-2. Jason over here actually has a decent record. I wonder who's the favorite in this one. Because low-key, I'm just going with the flow. I promise we'll get some real predictions once we get to the main card. But I'm gonna go with Jason Jackson, man. I'm not picking a Cretan. Oh boy, poor Muhammad Makayev could not get his visa issue sorted out, which really sucks. We could have had ourselves a good fight in the prelims, but of course, Muhammad Makayev somehow not make it into the U.S. But hey, maybe he's completely innocent. Anyways, Adriano Moraes should have this one. If it was a fight between Adriano Moraes and Muhammad Makayev, I would pick Muhammad Makayev. All right, but they somehow got another undefeated dude. This guy's 11-0, but my ass, this guy's 11-0. Adriano Moraes, I mean, he should have this. Maybe I should probably do some more research on this to see how legit this guy's opponents are. But man, if you're undefeated, I feel like I should have at least heard of you. So yeah, man, I'm gonna pick Adriano Moraes. All right, he did end up losing the trilogy with Mighty Mouth, with DJ. Lost the trilogy, but he did get the first knockout. So you know what I mean? He knocked out Mighty Mouse, dude. This guy's not bad, so I'm picking him. Eid Fazel versus Jake. Oh my God. Jake Babian? Jake Babian? I'm gonna go with Babian. I like his name. We move on to the main card, guys. This is the actual juicy stuff, all right? We can ignore all that previously. Watch them all be right, though. We got Junior Dos Santos, JDS, versus Robelis de Spain. Holy moly. We got Robelis de Spain. who got kicked out of the UFC for having absolutely no grappling. And it's like, why are all the Cuban guys? All right, I myself am Cuban. Why are all the Cuban guys in the UFC? They're always weird, man. I mean, Yoel Romero was a freaking legend, but that guy was clearly like a big ball of steroids that was just like grown into a homunculus. And Rebels to Spain, Taekwondo ace, but has no grappling, has less than zero grappling. So he's going up against Unk Junior Dos Santos. I actually think this is a really interesting fight. Weirdly enough, because even though we got Uber Unk in JDS was a monster, man. And hey, heavyweights take a little longer to age out. I think he actually has a pretty good chance of beating Rebels to Spain. Rebels to Spain, even though his striking is really good, I think Junior Dos Santos is going to take him down. He's going to wrestle fuck him. And I think Despain is not going to be able to do anything about it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about JDS, who's been doing MMA for a long, long time, has probably been doing jiu-jitsu even longer. He's one of the only heavyweights that actually has like decent jiu-jitsu. And yeah, man, this guy was a monster back in the day. But yeah, I'm just going purely based off how crap Rebels to Spain is. Like, don't get me wrong, on the feet, it could be dangerous. All right, if Junior Dos Santos can't take down Rebels to Spain, it's going to be a real problem. But I think he will be able to take him down, even though he's old. Rebels to Spain has no grappling, man. He has zero grappling. So I'm going to go with Junior Dos Santos. This is the rare time where I will pick a jiu-jitsu nerd. But you can't call him a jiu-jitsu nerd. Because JDS, man, JDS had some freaking knockouts, man. That dude was a stud. We move on to, my goodness gracious, how we got Kenneth Cross. I should know this guy. I feel like I should know this guy. I'm not even going to try to say this freaking guy's name, man. But whoever this guy is, man, I'm picking him. Because I've actually heard of this man. Okay, I'm gonna try to say his name. He's French. Yes, I know this guy. What? Salahaddin Parnassi. Saladin Parn. Oh wait. Okay, yeah. I for sure know this dude. KO rate of 323. Yo, this website, bro. What, bro? Okay, Anyways, I'm picking Parisi here to beat Kenneth Cross. Kenneth Cross has little to no experience. 7 wins, 4 losses. I mean, that already. Dude, horrible record. And you're going up against a guy who's 22-2. Like, who are the guys that Kenneth Cross had to beat to get this opportunity? Because, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to go with Parisi. We move on to Nate Diaz versus Michael Perry, the king of violence. This one, again, it's kind of tough to say because, I did see Matty Betts over here doing a crazy cycle parlay to do Nate Diaz by sub. It is a 5-round fight, but Mike Perry. He's been fighting low levels of competition. He's knocking out freaking Eddie Alvarez, I think, in BKFC. And don't get me wrong, BKFC, bare knuckle boxing. You got to be a real tough son of a to do that. The kind of toughness that you have to, and a guy like Mike Perry, man, he will get absolutely beat up like he owed someone money in BKFC, but he's pretty friggin' durable. If he's taking that much damage in bare knuckle boxing, and Nate Diaz is also, this is why this is such an interesting fight, because Nate Diaz is also known for being able to take obscene amounts of damage. But let's be real, he has been knocked out before. People act like, he has a great chin, clearly, but people act like it's uncrackable. He's been knocked out before, and he's only getting older. We haven't seen him fought in a long, long time. Last time we saw him fight was against Leon Edwards, where, everyone says that he let the finish slip away from him, but I honestly just think he was tired. And yeah, I know the legendary Diaz cardio. It's like people like mythicize these guys, and it's like Nate Diaz, man, he's only human. He's getting older. Mike Perry, even though he's taken an insane amount of damage in his career, and this honestly is a big factor. We saw this last week with Mateusz Rambetsky, right? The amount of damage you take in your career is going to affect you at a certain point. But I think that Mike Perry, I think that Mike Perry is going to beat the shit out of Nate Diaz. I think he's going to beat the ever-loving crap out of him. I think that he's pretty durable. I think he has great stand-up. He's going to be quicker. Nate Diaz necessarily has not always had the greatest striking. He's got a great 1-2, and he's got a slap, right? Great 1-2. Excellent 1-2. But MMA has evolved, right? Mike Perry is a little bit of a more new breed. I freaking love this pose that Nate Diaz is striking, by the way, on the freaking, this over here, this tough guy pose. I like it. But yeah, man, I don't see him getting the Homer Simpson victory like he did with Conor McGregor back in the day. I think he's going to get beat up, and I actually think he's going to get finished. But it's a 5-round fight. If he doesn't get finished, I think he's definitely going to lose the decision because, he might have some moments where he throws up a triangle. He might get close to a sub, but Nate Diaz ain't what he used to be, man. But if he can manage to get a win, bro, if Nate Diaz can get a win in the big 2-6, man, I might just eat my shorts. We move on to Francis Ngannou versus Philippe Lins. The original guy that Francis was supposed to fight in this fight pulled out, and now we got 18-3 Francis Ngannou. Who the hell did Francis Ngannou lose to? Who in the world did Francis Ngannou? It must have been early in his career. How were you? He must have just been really inexperienced. He must have. I gotta look at the guys who beat Francis Ngannou because I don't see anyone beating Francis Ngannou. In my opinion, Francis Ngannou is the best heavyweight in the world. Even though he had a close fight with Cyril Gane, he won that fight with 2 bad knees, exposed Cyril's lack of grappling, and we've clearly seen that Cyril Gane is really, really good. Francis Ngannou, man, he's been in there with all the best UFC heavyweights. All right, knocked out UFC legend Alistair Overeem when he was 1,000,000 years old. But still, crazy knockout. I think he would probably beat Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane. He's a scary, scary man. Even though his record is a little deceiving, I think he's the best heavyweight in the world. Lineal UFC heavyweight champion, by the way. He did completely screw over the PFL, and I honestly hate Francis Ngannou. I think he's a big bully. I think that everything that Dana White says about him is true. I think this man, all right, I think he cares more about money than human beings. All right, but I'll cut him some slack. He had a kid die recently, so I won't be so mean to him. I will pick him to win this fight. And you know what? I'm going to put a bunch of money on you, Francis, because I really think he's going to absolutely slime out Mr. Philippe Lins. I haven't seen too much of Philippe Lins, but he's got a record of 8-5. At heavyweight, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but horrible record. You're going up against the biggest, baddest heavyweight on the planet, and I think that's really going to get in his head. He's going to get knocked out, man. It's going to be a 5-round fight. This is insane, by the way. We got 3 5-round fights. Crazy. Whatever happened to the UFC doing 5-round co-main events, man? I missed that. I guess Strickland messed it up. Ever since Strickland fought Paulo Costa and bored everyone to death, we don't get 5-round co-main events anymore. But anyways, we move on to the main event of the evening. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I hate Ronda Rousey as well. It's kind of funny that I'm excited for this card because it's being headlined by 2 MMA fighters that I absolutely hate and are not in the UFC anymore because they're hard to work with. And Ronda, dude, this picture of Ronda Rousey's frying me. But Ronda Rousey, man, out of, she definitely is a legend, a pioneer. Same thing with Gina Carano. One of the pioneers of this sport, especially for women. I loved her role in Deadpool. That part where her titty popped out was really cool. As a 10-year-old kid watching that movie, I really liked that scene. Like, I didn't know Gina Carano was, a real trailblazer when it comes to the women's MMA thing, right? But lost her last fight, her first professional loss. I think it was to Chris Cyborg. And man, that was probably back in like 2008 or 2009. It was forever ago. When Gina Carano got her last, not even last win, her last MMA fight, Barack Obama was still president, probably. All right. We were still worrying about the housing crisis when Gina Carano last won. She got really fat as well. I don't know if you guys, no offense. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I like thick girls, but she got really, really fatty. Like, she got canceled by Hollywood and just started stress eating. Yeah, she gained a whole bunch of weight and then dropped it. You guys got to look it up because it's wild. I did not think she gained that much weight. Like, she looked really good. I'm thinking back on it now, in Deadpool, she was a little chunkier, but that's why she was so hot. Okay, anyways, I'm picking Ronda Rousey. Even though I hate Ronda Rousey, I hate her attitude. I hate that she feels entitled to everything. I hate that she talks crap about everyone. She's just the most obnoxious, loudmouth, bratty girl that you've ever met in your life. And we love seeing her get humbled. We loved it when she got knocked out by Amanda Nunes. We loved it when Holly Holm head kicked her into the stratosphere, even though no one expected it. But at the end of the day, we have to be real here. This ain't peaches and creamville. Although I would love for Gina Carano to get the win over Ronda Rousey and shut her arrogant ass up. Gina Carano is when I've been talking about dinosaurs in this card, this is a fossil. This isn't even a dinosaur. This is like something like Gina Carano is so past her prime at this point. And it's like MMA has moved so far past her. She was one of the first big female MMA fighters. And it's like women's MMA has improved so much. Even from when the time that Ronda Rousey was on her rise, women's MMA was massively improving. And Ronda Rousey, she was so dominant because all the girls around her were just not on her level. And maybe that did give her, I guess she can feel a little arrogant because of that, but we're way past that point. You're right. Any girl in the UFC, even an unranked girl, would smoke the both of them. I mean, maybe Ronda Rousey could get ranked at bantamweight, maybe. All right, because that's how trash women's bantamweight is. Gina Carano, man, there's just no way she's winning this fight. If you're a smart person, you would bet you would bet the clothes on your back, all right, the clothes on your children's back, the food in their mouths, the roof over their head, the car, the dog, everything. All right. Watch me just get this wrong and just, give you the absolute worst advice possible. But yeah, man, Ronda Rousey should have this. Rowdy Ronda Rousey getting a win in the big 2-6. Ain't that something? But overall, pretty decent card. I will be watching NETFILX. Probably going to be one of the most watched MMA events ever for a long, long time. Very excited, especially for that Francis Ngannou fight. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm hoping for a disgusting knockout. So next week, we got ourselves, actually, I don't know what's going on next week, but, we'll be doing what we always do, covering MMA, making our predictions, giving our reactions, doing what we do best, and giving absolute casual takes here at the Casual MMA Show. A subscription would be appreciated. A like as well would help me out a ton to stay notified on my most recent videos, and I will see you guys later.